awesome you are, and I mean that sincerely, Chris, to have you here and to be able to spend time with, you know, agents. And I get this opportunity more probably than what you guys will be able to. So please drink in what Chris is saying, because he does walk the walk, and that's what's really powerful by having these mega agents come in and spend time with you. He wants to help build your business. So it's your show at this point.
How much do I owe you for that?
Stop it. You're worth every
Send me the bill. That's great. If you could follow me around all the time, that'd be great. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We are going to do a 2-day session on working with buyers. Now, how many of you guys have come to all the Ignite classes so far? Are you getting up, ramped up? Okay. And now the rest of you guys are plugins for the buyer section of this. It's pretty cool. By the time you're done, you know, with Ignite, you'll have a good fundamental understanding of what it takes to be a real estate agent. So we'll have some fun today. I am really hang loose. If you have a question, just roll through. We don't have to be all formal and everything. CJ, you're rocking the tie today.
Rocking it.
Shoot, man. It's good. So a little bit about me. You can see I got started about 3 years ago in real estate. I have a background in, I work for a printing company, print and mail. I was a national sales manager for a company in Dearborn. Maybe I'll tell that story another time, or we go to one of our happy hours or something. I'll tell you how I got started in real estate. It's a great story. But I got started over at Keller Williams Plymouth. Lloyd Odell, many of you guys know Lloyd. He's actually the one who helped me get started in real estate. So I'm very thankful for him. It has changed my life dramatically, and I'm very, very fired up about where we're going. Then we came over here, gosh, that was about a year and a half ago, or so, a little over that. Came to this office, the Novi office, and then I got a phone call to actually interview for the team leader position in Ann Arbor, which was kind of cool. So, assistant team leader, and then they were transitioning out there. So last year I basically ran the Ann Arbor Market Center, which was, you should, every time you see Mike Shebeck, you should say thank you. Because what team leaders do is crazy. Okay, so that's recording. I hope they don't watch that, but they're crazy. It's like every day is a new day. You're dealing with 1,000 challenges all the time, and then when you get offices that are over 200 agents, Ann Arbor has 240 agents out of that office, and we're at 220. So you're dealing with a lot of stuff, right? So I did that for a year. I call it my internship of learning the do's and don'ts, a lot of things, and I actually taught this course in its entirety 5 times last year to all the new agents. And so that's kind of my background, getting new agents, recruiting them, helping them get started in real estate and getting up and running and into productivity, right? Because everybody wants to get paid, right? You guys are very lively. Let's go.
Yes.
Woo! There we go. That's what I'm looking for, a little bit more energy. We're going to have a good time. That's a good time. And then I came back into selling. I'm downtown Northville at the Business Center. I have my partner, Stephanie Janiga, who is one of the best listing agents in Southeast Michigan. So hopefully if you ever get a chance to learn about listings or things like that, you should pick her brain for sure. She's top notch. And then we're building our team down there. So that's background on me. What we're going to be talking about, one of my specialties, is working with buyers. So how many of you have done a transaction so far? Okay, so you know, when do you get paid? Great. At the end. So one of the misnomers is I'm doing work that I might not get paid for, right? How many people have ever thought that? Be honest, it's okay. Yeah. I know when I was a new agent, I was like, oh my God, I'm driving these people around. Are they ever going to buy a house? Dear God, these people need to buy a house. And my first client was a friend of mine, and I swear, I almost murdered him. His name was John. He was a good dude. But he dragged me all over, and there were just so many things that I did along the way that I really was like, I wonder if there's anything to do differently here. And then I took Ignite, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's information that would have been incredibly valuable earlier. Right? Same thing with my second client. When I was brand new, I showed this couple, I think, every house in Canton for 7 weeks. My Saturdays for 7 weeks in a row consisted of meeting RJ at 9 in the morning and showing houses until 1. And I got really good at scheduling, houses and doing that whole deal. And I'm like, I remember distinctly standing there when they found a house that they were looking at for the second time. They're like, I don't know. And then they had brought mom along, and mom's like, sometimes you can look up to 100 houses before you make a decision. I'm like, whoa, no way, are you kidding me? You gotta be out of your mind. I literally freaked out. Like, no, we are not doing that. If we don't do that, if we do that, then I didn't do my job.
Right.
And there are so many things that I learned that I'm gonna share with you on how to streamline the process, right?
Yeah, one of my first ones was 10 years ago. I was helping a family friend. And not only did the family bring all their family and friends, and everybody had 50,000 opinions, but we finally found a house after 6 weeks, in Heartland, and I live in Canton, driving all the way to Heartland all the time.
Yep.
On my Sundays. They loved the house so much, and I said, let's write an offer. Oh, well, we want to think about it tonight, I said, okay, well, you think about it. Monday, I'm not going to be available, I'm going to be in class. I won't be able to do anything, so let's do it now. No. So I'm in class, she's blowing up my phone while I'm in class. I get out of class, and it's one of the classes I couldn't take my phone with me, so when I got to the phone, it was like 100 messages from her.
Right, I love those.
I call her up, she's like, well, you just didn't seem interested in helping me, so we went with someone else. I said, I told you I was going to class.
That's heartbreaking.
15 grand I lost, and she listed her house with that same guy. And all they did was go to the house that they wanted, that I had chosen. I don't talk to that family member anymore. Literally, I don't.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Well, I'm going to teach you guys how to set up from the beginning to streamline the process so that you are the most efficient that you can be. Who's interested in that? Very much so. Okay. I literally took a client out. I hit the home run of home runs. I took a client out.
Sorry.
Here, I'll grab that for you.
Okay. I don't want you to trip out. Thank you.
I took a client out one time. I met with them. I did what I'm proposing. I'm going to teach you today and tomorrow. I did this process. I took them out one time to one house, got it under contract, and closed it in 30 days.
Nice.
That was $6,000. Done. So, what I'm going to teach you works. It's proven. It's in the Unite system here. We go through a very, very detailed process to make sure that you guys are going to be good. So let's do a little quick recap. If you get to, how many people have added 10 people to their database in the last day? Okay, good. That's a key fundamental thing that you're going to want to do for the rest of your career. Meeting people, collecting their information, because it's not about what's going to happen today or tomorrow or next week. It's collecting those people for the next, for as long as you're in real estate.
Right.
Right? Welcome. Do we have, are they in the back there?
6. Yes.
6.
Buyers.
How many people connected and had 10 conversations about real estate in the last day? Not yet? So one of the most important things that you guys can do is learn to have conversations about real estate. And there's a lot of confusion about what that sounds like or what that means. A lot of people are like, hey, so I can make 10 phone calls. Does that mean 10 phone calls? Does that mean talking to 10 people? What does that mean? For me, and this is what I think is the most important, is you have to ask the question 10 times. What's the question? Do you have any real estate needs? Are you looking to purchase a home? Do you know anybody who's looking to purchase a home? Do you know anybody who's looking to list their home? Maybe you're looking for some real estate investments. It's a good time to buy. So having that conversation, I'm sorry, I better turn that off.
Speaking of which.
Having that conversation 10 times in a day, that will start leading into growing your pipeline so that you can have buyer consultations, so that you can go list some homes and ultimately start servicing your clients. But that's something that you're going to want to fundamentally do. When they talk about the one thing, have they talked about that yet?
Yes.
Does anybody not know what the one thing is? Okay, so you all know. Good. spending your time prospecting, talking to people is very, very critical for your success in this business. If you're not willing to do that, you should not be in real estate. We're good? Good. So, how about 10 handwritten notes? Secrets of the business. How many people write notes? Clutch. You'd be amazed at how great that is. You can go to the dollar store, you can get a stack of just blank thank you cards. Just say, hey, thanks for taking my call today. I really appreciate being able to connect with you. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Sign your name, send that away. 10 of those a day, that's $5. $5. You'd be amazed at how many people will be like, wow, that's really first class.
Can I just ask, what's
Sure.
the best way to put your contact information in that note?
I just throw a business card in there.
You do, okay.
Yeah, I'll just throw my business card in. Handwritten and say, thanks, Chris, and then I'll put my business card
Okay,
in.
thanks.
And then how many people are previewing houses or showing houses? Okay, good. Something that you guys definitely want to do. In fact, I'm actually going to do that here when I leave here. I'm going around, I gotta go to some new construction sites and collect some information. So that's what experienced agents do. We gotta know the inventory, gotta know what's going on, gotta follow the market. If at a bare minimum, play on the MLS and do a couple searches, to see what's coming on the market, right? Anybody have anything awesome that's happened so far? Like something like an aha, like a breakthrough? Nothing's happened to you guys.
Well, I got a closing tomorrow that I didn't think was gonna happen until next week, so.
Well, that's not good.
I've been trying to get people I know that are close to me to talk to their coworkers more. And my fiance got me in touch with a person pretty high up in her work, and they're looking for a high dollar buy, and then they're listing a pretty good listing as well. So I'm just trying to win that business at this point.
Yeah. Do you guys know like referrals and how powerful that is when you get referred in?
Yeah.
That tends to be less competition as opposed to, calling an expired listing. Has anybody called an expired listing before? Yeah, those people are fun, aren't they? A little bit jaded. Gotten 15 phone calls that morning.
Don't think very highly of us.
Yeah, no.
You're number 28 the next week.
Yeah. I usually laugh and go, that's it? That's all the realtors that have called you? That's crazy. And they usually laugh, but sometimes. Either that or they say some obscenities and hang up on me. That works too. Maybe they're having a bad day. I get that a lot. You gotta have some thick skin. So on page 6-3, I should say your daily 10-4. We're just covering that. How about your affirmations? How many guys do the affirmations?
Just started that.
Just started? There's a whole science behind it that I don't have time to get into. I encourage you to look into it, but the power of your spoken word is very, very powerful. You know who you hear the most? You.
Right.
So what you say really does matter. How about this one? My business is growing abundantly. What do you think about that?
Good one.
It's a good one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we stand up? Go ahead, let's stand up. We're gonna do this last participation. This is a good time, right?
Right.
And we're gonna shout this affirmation, my business is growing abundantly. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
My business is growing abundantly.
One more time.
My business is growing abundantly.
Now like you mean it.
My business is growing abundantly.
Damn it. Good job. Good job.
Right.
All right, let's go over to page 6-4 and get your head in the game. Why don't you guys read at the bottom? Well, actually, I'll get through this. Finding buyers is simple. It's not very challenging to find people who are looking to buy homes, getting them locked down and under contract. That is the tricky part. But there's lots of people that, HGTV is awesome and a curse all at the same time, right? Because people are like crazy. But we'll deal with the cray-cray. Servicing buyers is inexpensive. Buyers are more time-consuming than costly. apart from gas and things like that, that you have to put in to show houses. But if I teach you a way that you could take a buyer out less than 2 times and then have them under contract, isn't that pretty inexpensive? By and large. The stuff I'm going to teach you today and tomorrow, I'm going to teach you a couple key phrases that if you say them and guide the process, I promise you, you'll have them on a contract within two sets. Either that or you need to cut them loose. Sound good? Earning with buyers is quick. Well, if you do it right in a great buyer transaction, you can help that person find a home and write an offer in 1 day, like I was telling you about. Working selectively with buyers is your key to generating income quickly. So it says working selectively with buyers. Does that mean come one, come all? Here's my question. Do you guys want to be a tour guide or do you want to be an agent?
Right.
And really let that one sink in. Because when I first started and I started working with buyers, I was a tour guide. And I was like, hey, look, this is Canton, and this is what Plymouth looks like. These are the kinds of homes that are in Plymouth. And hey, here's Northville. Look at this beautiful Northville. You want to buy a house here? Oh, we can't afford that. Oh, great. So why am I too? I felt like Vanna.
Hey, look at the house.
Hello. It's not all fun. So why don't we read this from Sean Kokoska, Knowledge is Power. Why don't you guys read that and underline your aha from in there, and then we'll talk about it. I think they're in the back over here. We're on 6-4. What are some of your things that you underlined? Who wants to volunteer?
I did the last sentence in its entirety.
Right.
If you haven't laid the groundwork, the calls become more of a nightmare because you will have invested a lot of time, money, and energy into a process and may or may not see the paycheck at the end.
Yeah, how just deflating is that to do all the work and then have them just fall apart. Deflating. It's discouraging. And it's part of the roller coaster that agents get stuck on in real estate. They do a lot of work. I think it's gonna close, it's gonna be fun. Oh my gosh, no, right over. And there's nothing good I got. That's no good. Who has something else? Go ahead.
I learned and I underlined the word you several times, but you are in a position to help make the American dream of home ownership come true.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys get passionate about being in real estate. And when you're at that closing table and you're helping that person, if you're on the buying side of this and they're excited, they're like, I just bought this house. And they're ready to move in. And they've already started decorating the home and doing all that stuff. And there's nothing better when they stand up from the table and they go, thanks, Chris. Thank you. And give you a huge hug. And you're like, that's good. You know, Lynette, I just helped Lynette and her husband actually purchase their first home. How cool was that?
So,
Yeah? You fired up?
still fired up.
Yeah. And it's yours. You
Mhm.
own that house now.
Yeah.
That's the excitement that keeps you going. Knowing that you're literally helping people in their financial situation, it's a big deal. And sometimes you've got to really take that step back and remember, we do this every day, dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, we're talking about like, what's your volume this month? Oh, I did, $2 million this month, and blah, blah, blah. But that person making that purchase, it's them right there in that moment, and it might be 100,000, it might be 200,000, it might be 500,000, but that's a big deal to them. And so it's making sure that you walk them through that process, that you keep them happy, that you're educating them along the way. It's huge. It's very good. Home ownership, the American dream. Actually, do you guys know what the new American dream is? Our status symbol, I should say. having your home paid off.
Really?
Maybe, I think a couple months ago or something I read that having your home paid for is kind of, it doesn't matter, you don't have to be a millionaire, but if you have a paid for home, that's a big deal. Anybody have something different?
I just kind of a kick in the butt to remind us that it's on us to do a thorough job of preparing to work purposefully. So, again, as you said, you're informed, you've got all the information, and you cut to the chase.
Right.
You know.
Yep, that's good. So what we're going to be talking about today, let's flip over, the 6-5, is choosing an area of specialization, doing market research, completing your buyer's guide, and learning how to qualify buyers in order to schedule them for the buyer consultation. So that's actually a pretty important part of that, number 4 there, in my opinion. And then tomorrow, I'm going to go over the actual buyer's consultation, what it looks like, how you go through it, and that is how, in the buyer's consultation, today I'm going to teach you how to get to a buyer's consultation. When you do a buyer's consultation, that will determine how many times you're going to have to take that client out. If you don't do a buyer's consultation, you are rolling the dice. You might as well go to the MGM Grand and put it all on red. If you do the buyer's consultation the way I teach you to do it tomorrow, you will be very fired up about how quickly and seamlessly that this will go, because you're a business owner, right? Everybody in here, you're an agent, and you get paid when it closes. So we'll set it up. It's about the setup. The actual showing of homes, that's a piece of cake. I mean, gosh, who's showed homes? That's a walk in the park. Even negotiating offers, there's a couple tricks, when they teach that course, whoever's teaching will probably teach you a couple different things that you can do in writing offers and negotiating, doing things like that can help your clients get the home. But one step at a time, you got to get them out there and get them in the right mindset that want to know that they're going to buy a home. All right? Because we're not here to like I said, we're not going to be tour guides. So another affirmation of the day, I am knowledgeable and powerful. You guys ready? Say it with me. I am knowledgeable and powerful. One more time.
I am knowledgeable and powerful.
So what does that mean to you? I am knowledgeable and powerful.
You need
Why
to
are you
believe
confessing
that
that?
in order to.
Because
You need to believe that in order to portray that.
Go ahead.
Because I'm an industry expert, and if I confess that, then I really flow out of that particular vein and perform at that level.
You have the knowledge. You have access to the knowledge. Do you know what separates you from the top agents
How you use
in
it.
terms of knowledge?
How you apply it.
My personality.
Yeah, nothing actually.
Due
The data
diligence.
is the data. It doesn't change. In fact, I brought some data we're going to talk about here, so I'm going to equip you. And more importantly, I'm going to give you the data today, but I'm also going to show you where to get it. So that you don't have to wait for anybody, you can go get it on your own, and you can be equipped just like any top agent to know what the numbers are. Sound good?
Yep.
That levels out the playing field. And I needed to know that when I was brand new. I went head to head on a listing against the almighty Mr. Jeff Glover, Mr. Billboard himself. And I got it because the only difference is the ability to tell the story of what's going on in the marketplace.
Not the story.
That's what separates people. Confidence, power, knowledge. You have the knowledge, you'll have power behind you, and now it'll just be your ability to tell that story and connect with that client. That's pretty good news, isn't it? Because I was like, wow, that's good. I know I can do this.
Well,
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, it makes sense. It really does when you think about it and break it down. The numbers are the same everywhere. All the agents go out there and they promise everybody, I can get you top dollar. Well, obviously, if it ain't top dollar, then, because I got the same numbers as the next guy, but all these other people are promising top dollar, and then the house goes to Never Never Land, where it's expired, and then they're all upset and hate agents. So it's like, if you portray it properly, then
Yeah.
you should get it. So.
Yeah. Buyers are fun too, working with the buyer side of it, because they're typically happy. Sellers are a little crazy. you think about it, like sellers, why are sellers selling? Could be happy, they could be selling because they're moving up, you know, they need more space, they're upgrading. Why might someone else be selling?
Job, divorce,
Be divorced,
job
Relocation.
transfer,
job transfer, maybe not happy about that,
lost a job.
lost a job, can't afford this place anymore.
Increasing their payment because they had a bad arm.
There's like more like potential negative things like why someone's selling. And so that requires a different skill set. Buyers are happy. By and large, buyers are like, hey, this is awesome, we're gonna go buy a house. And they're looking for their dream home. And so it can be a little bit more exciting working with buyers, especially early in your career. But navigating through a buying deal too with somebody who's not happy on the selling side is always fun too. Here, remember this too. We're agents. We represent our clients. We are not the client. Do you understand? Too many times in this business, people take on the needs of their clients, or they say things like, well, we aren't willing to do this. Oh, no, you say, my client may or may not be able to do this. Let me check with them. You know, I'm talking about inspections or anything, but do not get emotional. And when you see somebody, hold on one second, but when you see another agent jump in there, just smile, take a deep breath, but recognize it for what it is. That's a weak agent.
Say that again.
So when you have an agent who gets emotionally involved in the deal, or they interject themselves as the buyer or the seller, meaning, so if you and I are on opposite ends of the deal, let's say I'm the listing agent and you're the buyer's agent, and I say, oh no, we're not going to be able to come down to that point. You say, Chris, here we have an offer for $185,000. Oh no, we can't do that. No, I can't say that. That's me putting myself in the seller's shoes.
Okay, I understand.
What would be appropriate is for me to say, you know what? I'm not sure my client can do that, but let me check with them.
Mhm.
It sets a different tone, and it builds in that barrier. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
My question for you, and you can answer it at any time, I tend to deal with that a lot. And what's, in your eyes, what is the best way to handle that? Kind of bringing them back to where they need to be without killing the deal.
Yeah.
Because obviously if I say, well, that's not really up to you, then they're like, well, your deal's going in the round file, and I'm not even basically going to show them what they're basically going to tell you. So what are your best ways to kind of bring them back around?
I've noticed that a lot of times that agents like to play survivor real estate, where we're in one camp or the other. You know, it's like, hey, bring me your tiki torch, it's time for you to go. It's not how it works. And so anytime somebody's getting really fired up or over the top, what I like to do is I like to humanize it. I like to slow down and be like, are you okay today? Is everything going all right? And they're like, well, they usually bark back. I'm like, no, for real. Like, what we're talking about is not that big of a deal, but I just want to check to make sure you're doing okay, because you never know what's going on in somebody else's life. Here's one of the key things. If you can remember that they're a person on the other side, and they're just trying to do their best, and maybe that's their only deal they have going, and they need this to close, or they need to do this, or they have a crazy client. Have you guys noticed that there are nuts people out there? There are crazy people that you get stuck somehow dealing with. And if you don't have enough business, that's how you get stuck in those things. You're like, oh, I gotta do this because I need to pay my bills. And then these people are nuts. Sometimes that happens on the other end. The agent you're dealing with is dealing with somebody who's not being remotely fair. I had that recently. I was on the buying side, the listing agent, the appraisal case, and the listing agent said, "Oh, they're not willing to come down at all." Oh, okay. So you can let them know that they can put their house back on the market, and they're still going to have a low appraisal. That's not going to change whether this buyer that we're representing buys the home or not. Your appraisal's not going away, and you're going to reset the clock. And you could probably sell it this weekend. I get that. Because the market's hot, right? And there's a home in Novi. But then you got to do another inspection. You got to do another, appraisal. That's another 4 weeks. Is your buyer really going to spend another $2,500, or a seller going to really buy their home back for $2,500? And they're like, oh, that's a good point, but the seller was like, no, we're crazy doing it. So I went back to my buyer client and I said, here's the situation, here's what I need to know. Do you want to buy this house? Even if you have to bring all the cash, the difference between where it appraised and what the sale price is. Are you willing to do that? Well, I'm not gonna be happy about it, but yeah, I'm gonna do it. Because I also explained to them, I said, well, you could walk away from this deal too, but then we're also back at square one. You're gonna get all your money back. You're not gonna, it's not like anybody's gonna be out, but we're gonna be back at square one. And let's go ahead and, let me send you over the updated list of what's available in your search criteria. And there's nothing. So you already have this under contract. What would you like to do? You see how I kind of guided that conversation and brought perspective? And I even said to the other agent, I said, you know, I appreciate you working hard and diligently with your sellers. It's disappointing that they're being as difficult as they are, but my client would still like to purchase the home. So we went ahead and closed. I didn't get too emotional. That other agent was like blowing up my email. By the way, that's part of the story. Like, I need an answer right now. I'm like, first of all, no, you don't. I think my buyer has the right to think about it for a couple days since your seller is unwilling to move. And that's a lot of money. Wouldn't you agree? Well, I would, but you know, we still need to have an answer because we want to get the house back on the market. I said, I definitely appreciate where you're coming from, but I'm going to ask for some latitude and some grace. By the way, Jeff, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, I've just been really stressed out lately. I'm getting ready to go out of town and I just need to wrap up some of these things. I go, okay, well, I'll work my best. I'll do my best. You see how I disarmed that emotion? And why are you hammering on this? That's a key thing you want to do. Just slow it down sometimes and take a deep breath and remember they're just people too. And you got to work with them. You know, he's with a America agent. You know, you're going to have relationships with people. No one deal is worth your integrity or your character. Always do things the right way, because it will come back. You think I'm going to do another deal with that agent?
No.
Maybe. I don't know. As long as they're still in business, you know, there's actually probably likely. So we'll see. So choosing an area of specialization for buyers. Kind of the way real estate is purchased now, in my opinion, this is my opinion, and maybe you guys have noticed this or not, but wouldn't you agree that most of your clients are online looking at homes way more than you?
Yeah.
Do you know that I tell them flat out, you're more likely to find a home before I do? People go, really? Because everybody thinks the buyer agent is supposed to go find the home. Do you really want to compete with the wife who is going to be in her PJs at midnight scrolling the internet for houses? Or would you like to get a good night's rest? Think about it. If you tell them that, they crack up. 100% of the time. They're like, yeah, that's what we do.
And, you know, it's funny too, because we'll give them an auto email, and then they'll send you a bunch of houses, and I'm like, they're like, well, it didn't come up on your feed. I'm like, well, did you look on Zillow and Trulia? Well, yeah. I said, well, that's not based on the criteria you gave me. That's why it didn't show up.
Yep.
We do it all the time.
I'll help you eliminate that conversation. Come tomorrow. But I tell them people, you know, the buyers that I'm working with, hey, you're most likely going to find the house. And so they're going to look all over. And so the days, in my opinion, the days of being a super specialist, you know, like I'm a neighborhood specialist.
So,
Kind of irrelevant, in my opinion. I can actually be an expert on any neighborhood in one day. Why is that?
do your research.
Information on
The internet. You want to be an expert in a neighborhood in California? How long would that take you? One day? That is a bright light. Just walked right in front of that. So, you don't want to be all over the place. You know, I would highly recommend not being a specialist for $50,000 homes in Mount Clemens. Unless you live in Mount Clemens. Does that make sense?
Right.
So some practicality comes into play here. If you get a client who's like, yeah, I'd love to buy this home, it's $75,000 in Harrison Township. Rock and roll. Let's find an agent that lives out there, because if they're going around, even for one day, it can eat up a whole lot of time. It's a pretty high risk proposition to go out and take out buyers who may or may not buy for that price. Now, if they want to buy $1 million home in St. Clair Shores on Lake St. Clair, are you going to drive out there? Yeah, you bet I am. I'm going out there right now. When you let's go in the car.
I'm already there.
Yeah, in fact, that'll be a good time. We'll go out afterwards. So just, you want to define that for you. Why do you want to define it? What you're willing to, what you're not willing to do. Why
So
is
you
that
don't get
important?
walked all over. They got boundaries,
So-
guidelines.
So what you're worth.
So you know, you need to define for you what you're, so when something comes, you'll make it easier. That way you're not always constantly thinking about, should I do this, should I not do this? You've already put the thought into whether or not you're willing to do it or not willing to do it. And so if it's outside of your criteria, refer it. If it's inside your criteria, take it. But if you're like, well, I'll take a case-by-case basis, I think that's gonna waste a lot more of your time, in my opinion. So geographic, this talks about geographic areas, different property types, things that you want to think about. Why don't we take just 2 minutes on your piece of paper here, 6-6, and think about like what areas you're willing to work in and what price range. And then if you have any specific property types like lakefront or waterfront, golf course communities, new construction, why don't you put some thought into that real quick? And then how many are you in here are brand new agents, and I mean like within the last 6 months? Okay. So you guys, the third question, think about some of the skills that you had from your previous career that you think are transferable, meaning they relate to the real estate industry.
As far as helping clients.
Yep. Like CJ, you've got a background in customer service and sales.
Am I? Okay.
It's hot here. Is it hot here?
It is today, and normally it's pretty chilly.
I can't ever tell if it's just because I'm fat or not. So,
You can probably
can
turn
that door
that.
crack open?
You can probably turn that off, Chris.
Or turn it down?
You can probably turn that off. I think there's a remote right there.
You guys, everybody's got my credentials, right? You're tired of seeing my face. And I won't be blind. That's a good call.
You can pace and not be.
I can go back and forth now. Somebody talking about communication?
Mm-hmm. Lloyd, yes.
Is that Lloyd?
Yeah.
Did he do the whole, I didn't say I kissed that girl?
No.
That's a hilarious one.
No.
That's it. It's like, so if you text somebody, I didn't kiss that girl, that can mean 4 different things.
Okay.
What?
I didn't kiss that girl. 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 Same sentence means 4 different things. That's why texting, email,
It's horrible, yeah.
writing
Texting's
things,
horrible.
it's very ineffective compared to voice and inflection and tonality.
No, he did not talk about that
You
one.
didn't do
That's
that.
That's a good one,
stuff.
though. Yeah.
Come
no.
on,
That's a
Lloyd.
good one.
Stop holding out.
He was really good, but.
But yeah, that he did not talk about.
He probably kept, I'm not gonna teach that far.
He
That's
talks
like
about
little
the drunk
one word.
monkey.
Yeah, he talked about the drunk one.
The drunk monkey, yeah.
His actual sock puppet he has up in his office.
No, the drunk monkey that
Yeah,
tells.
he's got a drunk monkey.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Does he?
I may or may not have done inappropriate things with that drunk monkey. Guys go up to his office and be like, Deighton said to come up here, and he wants to see the drunk monkey, or told us to come see it. All right, so what areas of specialization have you guys got? Who wants to share? Not all at once. All right.
Livonia, Novi, Northville, and Plymouth.
Okay, so like the I-275 corridor?
Corridor, yeah.
Got it.
residential, and then the transferable skills was home construction, renovation, and investment properties. And that's the areas that I did that in for 10 years.
Excellent. Very good. Who else wants to share? All right, one in the back.
Palmer Woods, Indian Village, Northfield, Novi, and West Bloomfield.
Indian Village.
That's my favorite neighborhood in the entire state.
That's fantastic.
It's in Detroit. It's beautiful, old mansions.
Who else? Are you?
I was just gonna say.
Oh, boys, too. I'm jealous of you.
Mostly Wayne and Oakland, anything in Wayne and Oakland. Done most of that. Single family properties. And I mean, I've had my license over 10 years. I came from good investing and stuff like that too. So flipping, wholesaling, short selling, and all that stuff.
Cool. Good transferable skills. You're going to want to know some of that stuff because it's going to matter here on the next section. So we're going to do market research, right? How many of you belong to RealComp? Hopefully everybody in here. You're a member of GMAR, have access to RealComp. When you log into RealComp, there's RealComp Online, which is the MLS that allows you to search for all the properties. But there's also right next, because everybody clicks on RCO3, goes right into it, but right next to it is a little button that says RealComp. And that's actually their website. And if you go to the products and services, it has statistics. And they have these awesome statistics that you can print out and have access to. And they're delayed by like 2 months, but they're very insightful for when you're talking to clients, because then they say, wow, you have stats. You know what's going on in the marketplace. So that is where you find them on RealComp's website. Go to the products and services, find stats, and then you can pull up month-over-month stats, year-over-year stats. So I pulled, and this is what's cool too, is it prints this out, this nice little cover, and then it has the highlights. It even tells you how you should interpret these. How great is that? That's very fantastic. So, in the entire MLS, so all of RealComp, sales for the month were down slightly by 1.8% year over year, from February 2014 to February 2015. How many people find that interesting? It's interesting, isn't it?
Was 14 like a banner year though?
Correct. So the market has been, last couple of years has been pretty awesome. Lots of sales. So we're only down 1.8%. And so there were 3,897. And then this year there was 3,826. Pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Now, more importantly, this is the big one. The median sales price for the entire MLS was up 19% year over year. When people go, hey, are you guys recovering? How's Detroit doing?
We're up 19%.
We're up 19% year over year. And it went from 105,000 as the average sales price to 125. And you're like, that's not my opinion, that's statistic fact. That's public record. Being equipped with that information is important. Why do you feel that that would be relevant for working with buyers?
Show value.
Well,
It shows value, it shows what you're doing. What do you tell them?
from trying to do a lowball offer,
Yeah.
they still get a deal. Like,
There are no deals.
It is a camera.
Deals are over.
The deals are gone.
over.
And if they wait, the price will keep going up. They won't be looking at anything.
Even worse than that, interest rates will go up.
It's June.
Well, then with the 5 to 7 cycle, everyone that should be moving now bought in 9, 10, 11, so they all just assume that they can go out and, find an REO for next to nothing.
Right.
And it's just not.
So let's talk about,
The deal is the interest rate.
how about this? The average days on market for the entire MLS increased 4 days, from 59 to 63. Do you guys know what average days on market means? It's how long it takes from the time it's listed till the time it goes pending. So it's roughly 2 months. Pretty good. an average market is probably right about there, maybe a little bit more, maybe 70. If it started, you know, back, if you go look back at statistics when it was horrifyingly bad, 2008, 2009, 2010, average days on market was like 120.
Yeah.
So you're like, hey, we want to sell your home? Well, that's going to take 4 months. Buckle up, buttercup. How about this one? Speaking of REOs, 92% of the market inventory is designated as non-foreclosures and 8% is designated as foreclosures.
Wow.
So that's, last year was 87 and 13. So at the same time last year, 13% of all the homes that were listed were bank-owned REO. That number's down quite substantially. What does that tell you?
They're drying up.
Drying up. People aren't upside down. People aren't losing their home. People are employed. These are all good things to know of how to strengthen your community and strengthen our state, our area, because that's a good indicator, right? So having all these stats, where do you get them? Real
On our website.
Here's, and then they have like the average days. These are charts. You should just look them up. In fact, you know what I'll do? Debbie, if you could have Whitney come down here, I'll have her make some copies for everybody. Or you can do it. They have a new form out there. This is 12 pages long. It's awesome. You don't probably need to just do that one. They can look this one up on their own. But this breaks it down by categories on pendings, expireds, back on market. You know, those, you know, the stat things, or when you look at the MLS, the like active, pending, sold, those indicators, they break that down too. How interesting is it that for residential properties, 2014 to 2015, the number of pendings in February increased from 4,002 in 2014 to 4,200, almost 4,300, it's 4,281. So it went up quite a bit, almost 300 more pendings that went under contract in February this year than last year. Pretty interesting. So the market's moving. It started earlier. That's what tells me is people go, oh, I don't like winter, or you know, when's springtime coming? Springtime started in February, right? Because that's when things started happening. So all these stats are pretty interesting to look at, and then they match up to the main stats too. That we'll get you copies of all that. I think you should keep that in your presentation. You can update it monthly. You know, it's something your documents are going to be ongoing. So if you're sitting down with somebody and you start talking about the market and what's going on, have you ever had somebody go, well, I don't know about that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because they know everything. They got it. They,
Right.
you know, they stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, right? So the numbers mean a lot.
Right.
That's what you just pull out and go, you know, I'm not sure who told you that, or if you're looking on Zillow, or, you know, you just Googled it on the internet or whatever, you know, which basically, by the way, the internet is nothing more than the bathroom wall of society. Anybody can write anything on there, and that doesn't mean that you would take financial advice from something that is written on a bathroom wall. Would you? You're like, oh, buy this stock. Oh, okay, great. Billy, carve that in. Right? No, you would never do that, so why is it so carte blanche that, oh, it's on the internet? Same thing actually with the news, unfortunately. You gotta be careful about which one you're listening to.
Right.
Any of them actually, they're crazy. But these are hardcore stats. You know, right from our MLS, part of our association, you're gonna wanna have this information. So doing the market analysis, then you wanna know your list price to sales price ratio, or what the average is in the area. Right now, I know that the average list price to sales price, so what agents list the home for to what it sells for, is the average realtor is about 94.8%.
Is that OLP or what current is that if they drop the price?
OLP, from the beginning.
Actually, that shows that in real comp online.
Yeah, yep, you can pull out those stats, you can look at the things. I know for our team, I've been a life, our list price, the sales price is 99%. So when we list a property, we sell it, you know, pretty much right at list price. Why is that? Because some are a little bit lower, but some have multiple offers and drive up that price.
Because you're pricing it right from the beginning.
Correct. Well, remember I told you I had Stephanie Janiga that's part of my team. She really knows what she's doing. So I smile and nod my head and go, that's great. But what that tells me on my buyer side, why do I want to tell my buyer what the sales price, the list price is?
So they don't know, so they think they can lowball.
So they don't think they can lowball. So if you know that information, then you can tell them flat out, like, look, I know this list is listed for 200,000, and you want to offer 160 for it. That's 20% low, and the average list price to sales price is 94%. So you're a little off. And now, unless you're brand new and you need practice writing up PAs, you know, when I'm brand new, I'm like, yeah, I'll write a PA, whatever. We'll submit this, and I'll tell the other agent, hey, I'm just doing this for practice. Go ahead and tell me no. They always got to get a kick out of that. Sometimes you just got to keep it real with the other agents. It's hilarious. But if you have a good compelling offer, make it right. Average days on market. Why is that important? So if your buyer looks at a home that's been on the market for 4 days and it's listed for 200,000,
You're not lowballing.
they're not going to lowball. They're not going to take your 20% low offer. They're just not. In fact, the rule of thumb I use right now is I just tell them, hey, if it's been on the market for less than 30 days, you should expect to pay full price. I have this attorney client, he's driving me nuts. Driving me nuts. Because he likes to keep asking me questions about, like, well, do you think it's worth it? And I'm like, serenity now. I'm like, listen to me for the 100th time. Listen. You're getting a mortgage. The bank cares more about the price than you. They're the ones with the money. If you're paying cash, you want to do a market analysis. Right now, we want to get it under contract. And he's like, no, but they bought it for $102,000 6 years ago, and now it's $220,000. I'm like, do you hate stock traders? Do you have a hate for Wall Street or something? You just don't like it? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, because you're talking about people who bought stock low and are going to sell it high.
Like, that's the
Same thing you
point.
would do before.
The same thing anybody would do. I go, quite frankly, what they bought it for is irrelevant. Irrelevant. Next question. Please don't bring it up again. And now it's so funny because he's like, hey, well, I was wondering what, oh, never mind. I'm like, Matt, good job, buddy, you're learning. I know it, you're an attorney, you'll figure it out. We have some fun with our clients. You gotta build up a lot of rapport before you can start talking to them like that. I wouldn't recommend that right out of the gate. But at the same time, I'm not interested in running around, and he's looking for a deal. There are no deals. There are no deals.
When I've taken some buyers out or showing properties, like I've been working with a client for 2 years now, and they got cash, and he's analytical. And he's like, well, it's just not worth it. And I said, well, look at all these properties in this neighborhood. They went pending in 7 days. I say, and look at the property next door that you want to buy, and you want to discount it 20 grand. I said, you're not going to get it. These are all sold in 7 days. More than likely, they got their full asking price, if not more. He just wants to fight me.
That's good. I had the same buyer look at one of our listings that was listed for $200,000, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen that neighborhood. There's no way I would pay $200,000 for it." And I go, "That's good." He's like, "You're not going to get $200,000 for it." I'm like, "Really? Okay." And I just logged that away. Wouldn't you know? 4 days later, we got $198. He's like, "I wouldn't pay over $185." I go, "Well, I hope you can renew your lease where you're living."
Because you wouldn't have got it.
I hope you like your apartment. And he's like, all right, that's a good point. Sometimes you just got to come with the real stats. The numbers don't lie. Number of houses on the market in different price ranges. So when you pick your target market or you start learning about this area, Livonia has quite a gap in it. There's a lot of different price ranges. There's, from east to west, Livonia ranges pretty far in demographics. Northville's a little bit more consistent with their pricing. Novi, Farmington Hills has kind of got the same thing from northeast to northwest. different size price homes, and you're gonna wanna kind of start learning that or looking at it, and you'll really get that over time, just from showing houses and knowing the area. How many people grew up in the area? Okay.
I find the more different school districts there are, the more range of the prices.
Yeah, actually, that school district is the #1 determiner of value. I was talking to an appraiser. So if you want a little fun fact for you, if your buyer's like, well, what makes this worth this? Well, let's start with the schools. Because if you took a house, same house, let's say it's 2,000 square feet, colonial, completely updated, granite, the whole 9 yards, and you put it in Belleville with Van Buren schools, and you took that same house and you put it in Northville, which one is worth more? Northville. Why?
School district.
School district.
Well, it's just like, the Canton, 48187.
Yeah.
Canton Schools, 48188. Van Buren. You can buy an awesome
Yep.
house all day in Canton Van Buren Schools.
Yep.
You can get a steal over there.
Yeah, there's your deal. So you're going to want to know the numbers of homes in the different price ranges. And you can set up searches. When you guys get into the real comp, you can actually set up hot pages that kind of help you with market trends and things like that you might just want to review periodically. I try to do it like once a week. So price trends, you're going to want to know, what's going on. You're on page 6-8 of price trends. Are prices going up or down right now? Up. The speed of the market. How long are houses staying on the market?
How long?
Less than 30 days. Less than 30 days. If it's in complete, updated, move-in ready, awesome condition, does that make it through the weekend?
No.
Nope. Multiple offers, right? I just wrote an offer for a house in Farmington Hills that had 8 offers on it. 8. We did not get it. How do you think the conversation went with my buyer?
It depends on what kind of offer they were.
Full price, conventional.
Why didn't you tell me?
Might have gone cash.
They went with conventional way over list price. And I said, so, sorry you didn't get the home. Great offer. Here's what you need to think about next. There were 8 offers, 1 got selected. Yours was not one, so you're now one of, there's 6 other parties out there that wrote on this house that did not get it, that are looking at very similar homes to you, that are serious enough to write offers on. So when we go look at the next house,
Keep that in mind.
guess who's looking at that house too?
6 other people.
So at minimum, 6 other people. What am I doing?
Have them up there again, Pete.
Create some urgency.
I'm educating them. I'm bringing perspective so that when if they want to live in a home, they're going to have to come to play ball. Make sense? Now, if you didn't have that conversation with them, what do you think happens?
Do the same thing last time.
Correct.
And then it's your fault when you get to buy a house and go
Yeah,
down the other
I got a dumb agent doing that can't ever help me get anything done. Yeah, okay, great. How about are sellers paying down mortgage points, or they paying any closing costs? Not typically. So if your client needs money back to help close, so they're FHA borrowers or whatever, how do you want to position that offer?
Definitely want to.
Over to cover that.
Here's a good little tip for you guys. It's not even so much over as it is the guarantee over appraisal. Because that's what that seller's worried about. Like, okay, well, we could offer $150,000 on a $130,000 listing. That's $20,000 over. But you and I both know it's not going to appraise for that, which is just going to put that seller back in the same spot. So if you really want to differentiate your offers, I would add some clause in there that guarantees within 2% of the appraisal price.
But if they're
Something like
asking
that.
for closing cost assistance, that means that they're not working a whole lot of money.
Yeah,
Typically.
it's
So,
if you do, so you want to figure out how much money they have. So if they don't have the ability to do that, then you need to write a letter, and you need to go with the emotional pull. That's your only chance. Did you know that sellers are emotional?
Yeah.
Did you know that they'll sometimes pick a lower offer because they feel a connection with that buyer?
Mhm.
They feel like they want to help. Did you know that in Southeast Michigan, the Detroit area is the people? Because we genuinely want to help one another. Like when something bad happens, don't we have each other's backs?
Yeah.
And you sometimes send a picture to sellers like you dancing.
Yeah, sometimes.
In a vehicle or something? I heard that's a great idea.
Perhaps.
I did. Yeah.
So when Lynette's a great
Send
story
a
here.
video.
Lynette, you had,
That's how they won their house.
Lynette was an FHA buyer, multiple offers. List price was $125. And turns out that one of the buyers that she was competing with was one of the listing agent's buyers, so there could possibly have both sides to this. So the listing agent could kind of technically be shady, if you will, and not do what's in the best interest of their clients. That never happens. But she didn't. It was Marianne Prokop from Coldwell Banker. Really, really great agent. I was very impressed. She was awesome to work with. And what we did was we had gone out and looked at houses, condos, found the one that she liked. We were on the way back to the office, the business center downtown, and I was going to write up the offer, right? How many people have heard the song Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars? Whatever. It's a good song. That's our theme song at Opulent Life Realty. If there's ever a down moment, someone just hits play, we stand up and start jamming, you gotta start dancing. It's impossible not to dance to that song. I'd like to see, if I played that song, how many of you could just sit there? No, I refuse to dance. Especially when other people start dancing.
Right.
And so that song came on, we were jamming out. Lynette pulls out her phone, starts doing a video, and I'm like, we're gonna get that condo. She's like, I'm feeling it, we're getting good vibes, we're gonna do this. So we got this video, this crazy video of us dancing in our car, driving back, jamming out. Well, it was Sunday night. I'm at Starbucks with Ken Posick. We're sitting there, and I'm like, hey, hold on, I'm gonna do something crazy. He goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm sending the listing agent this video to show the sellers. And you know what? I sent it. She wrote back, the sellers picked your offer because of the video. Because they had a connection with Lynette and her husband. I think they're in the back over here. So, FHA,
Yeah.
high risk. Are you complaining?
I am not. I will
I'm
dance for whoever.
I'm not saying it's not a strategy. Sometimes you just gotta get creative and start thinking like, what are we gonna do? We gotta connect with that seller. Because you know what? Cash is the best offer. Conventional's the next best. FHA. Had to go with the emotional play.
She's got man skills.
And that's cool. Do it.
I just did that with, there was multiple offers on the property, and so we used the strategy that my client really is a disabled vet, and so
Yeah.
wrote a letter, and
Yeah.
hey, it worked.
It did work. I don't feel bad about that. I was working for my client. And I'm trying to think of ways, how can I help my client? And sellers are emotional, so. All right. So here's some scripts that you're going to, now when there's scripts in the Ignite program, here's what I want you to look at them. Do not be a robot, do not read these verbatim, and that's just unwise. Because you're not Diana Kokoska, first of all. And you want to basically catch the concept of these scripts. So whenever we're looking at scripts, think about what is the purpose of the script? What are they trying to convey? Use some of the language from it, but then make it your own. Like the average day on market one, here on page 6-9. The reality is, you have to evaluate each home you like and decide if it is the home for you, whether it has been on the market for a day or a year. A great home always sells, and it usually sells fast. So while the average days on market is 54, that number does not represent all homes. Because some of them sit on the market for 365 days, and some of them sell in one. So You're not gonna get all that out. Can you imagine sitting there with your client and be like, so, the reality is, we have to evaluate each home. It's not, do people like, Dave, here's the reality. Each home has a certain days on market. While it's 54, that doesn't represent the entire market. Because some sell in one day, and I can show you plenty of those, and some take 365 days because the market is wrong or they're, not priced right. Does that make sense? Anyway, I got it. So now I've just conveyed the same thing in my own way. So just study some of those and make sure you, same thing with the list price, the sales price, you want to know those numbers, and you just want, trying to communicate that to the buyer. Why is that important? Because you're setting the stage later down the road when they want to go make an offer. And when they say to you, Chris, we'd like to offer 20% less than that, you can say, you know what, I definitely appreciate where you're coming from. Do you remember when we had a conversation about sales price, the list price? Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's come back to the reality of the current market situation. And then you can have the conversation. So, but if you don't have the conversation on the front end, it makes it really hard to go back. Like they get set on their mind, in their mind to like, hey, we're gonna have lowball offers. We're shopping. That's not. It's gonna prolong the process. Does that make sense? Local information. Okay, so we already kind of talked about school district information. I would definitely know the school districts. Did you know in Livonia that there are 2 school districts?
Mm-hmm.
Clarenceville and Livonia Public Schools? Do you know that one is superior to the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not like a mile road barrier, the neighborhood is actually cut.
Right.
Yep. Very, very important to know the difference. What drives value? School districts. So you're gonna want to know that. So you don't need to be an expert on all topics. You don't need to know the difference between aluminum siding and vinyl siding. Hopefully you do, but if you don't, no big deal. But you do want to know the school districts. You want to know, did you know that you can live in Novi and have Northville schools? Vice versa. Yep, there's like overlaps in some areas. Did you know that Novi and Northville do not play nice with their schools? And like if you live in a spot, they do not let you choose to go to the other one.
Right.
Go ask Jane Hale that question. She was trying to sell a home in Bellagio, 1.3 million. And the people who were buying it were coming from Novi and wanted to keep their kids in Novi schools. And Novi said, no. Almost killed the deal. Imagine how stressful that is. Everybody know what commission is on 1.3 million?
I was gonna say, especially with that.
Yeah, it's 300 and, I'm sorry, that's about 40 grand.
39,000? There's 39,000 riding on somebody's decision about whether or not their kid can go to the same school that they're already going to. They're already going to that school. And they're staying within the same city. No, you can't come here. 39,000. That makes my heart pound.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you gotta be kidding me. We lost all reason. What's wrong with you people? But that's how I handle things.
Take 20 grand back and I'll hire him sometime.
Redistricting.
Yeah, redistricting from.
I want to vote right now.
I'll get a tutor from that school to come over, prepare for something.
So just out of curiosity, what did they do? They just decided to,
Move their kid.
okay.
I want a house.
Poor kid.
Poor kid. Yeah, that poor kid's growing up in a $1.3 million house. That poor kid.
It's gonna be just fine.
I don't know if you have enough room.
Farmers and Hills.
What's that?
That's the same for Farmers and Hills. There's a pocket that has Walt Lake.
Yeah.
Same with West Bloomfield.
You gotta want to know that stuff. That's really important stuff to know. How about local resources? So you want to think like a buyer who's moving to the area. What would be some local resources that you should think would be highlighted? Let's just stick out in the Northville and surrounding area.
The park system. Gut Race, Pines Drive, all the outdoor activities.
Yeah, cool. Anybody else?
Local shops,
Like what kind?
grocery store,
Restaurants.
easy access to.
Guernseys.
Guernseys? Always a good one.
Easy access to the expressways, stuff like
How about the hospitals?
that. No one needs those.
Nobody cares about healthcare anymore. It's not exactly a hot topic these days.
You gotta mortgage your house in order to,
Yeah.
you just bought.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll president will go on, hopefully. But yeah, how about knowing the hospitals? How about knowing, where grocery stores are at? How they're gonna live? Point that stuff out. Are there private schools nearby? You got Detroit Catholic Central that's over there in Novi. Third Mercy, is for girls, it's over there in Farmington. Got Ladywood and Livonia. Knowing some of that stuff is helpful too. How about knowing where some of the churches are?
So have you seen, I don't know if you've seen Jamie Kramer's listings. He does this on in Northville, but I was just at one of his showings yesterday, and he has attached to his listing information all the stuff that's in Northville, like exactly that, the
Yep.
schools, the things that are important in Northville. I wondered where he gets that. I was gonna pull right, I'm gonna grab one.
Sometimes you don't need to reinvent the wheel, you just grab somebody
No,
else's.
it's really cool. It's got like stats on the city and the education system and the hospitals and restaurants, and it's really cool thing. So.
Yeah.
But that would be
It's a
good to
value
just
add.
have, like, for yourself, for your buyers.
For sure.
I think you go to your city website, a lot of that information
That
has
too.
links on there, that will share that information.
So if
Some
you,
information's on Realcon.
correct. So if you take the time to look at that stuff, are you earning money or are you wasting time?
You're on money.
You're earning money. You're not going to get a check at the end of that day, but wouldn't you agree that that's going to speed up the process for a client to buy a home?
Yeah.
Enhancing your value.
You're enhancing your value. You're going to get more clients and you're going to close homes faster because you provide real value. Let's go over to your buyer's guide. How many of you have played on eEdge? Any of you guys? Do they have a buyer presentation that you currently use? Yep. Yep. So if you want to make yours, you can make one too in Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, which we all have access to. In fact, that's what we do. We have our buyer consultation pack. We'll be going over this tomorrow for you guys in class. But this is our buyer's pack. And in this has a bunch of information about like different home searches. But this all came from, you all have access to this. This is not like something special. I just made it, for our company. We have a little bit about us. My favorite page. I will be going over in depth this chart tomorrow and some of the things that I say that speed things up. But this is just handy information. It's about the home buying process. It's about how we work, etc. You're going to want to make one of these for you. So when you have a buyer's consultation, you can sit down with somebody and be like, here, Dave, here's your booklet. Let's run through this real quick. And you have a system. Instead of just coming in and sitting there and going, hey, well, what do you want in a house? Do you know where you want to live? Okay. Do you know how much you want to spend? Okay. So let's not do that. Let's take our A game to the front. Be purposeful. You know what? You know what excites you? Actually, how many people have worked with a first-time homeowner? Are they not the most nervous people on the planet? They are so fun to work with because they're exhilarating. They're like, this is so awesome. This is so awesome. Oh my God, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, are you sure? Oh my God, this is awesome. This is so sweet. I can't believe we're getting a house. Oh my God, what's going on? Is that going to work out? Are we doing it right? And you're just like, I didn't take my pill today. Take a deep breath. You got to be that calming. And if you're that, my point is, if you're like, well, what do you want to do? Or you start letting them have too much free range, you are going to be on that roller coaster too.
Right.
I'm not onto that roller coaster. I'm the firm ground. I'm the rock that you can lean on. I'm the professional. when you have a booklet, you have a system, and you have a way of doing business, that's your way of doing business, you will be successful. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. The booklet, is that something you get on the printer upstairs, or?
I have no idea. Actually, we have our own printer. But, you know, there's lots of print companies and things like that. But this is just 8.5 or 11/17 folded and sales stitched. I don't know if they have that upstairs. We're at the business center, so I haven't really come over here and played with the technology too much. You're going to want to make your booklet. All right? Sorry I offended you. I'll work to be better next time. Have a good day.
Way to go.
I can't do this anymore. So you spend some time maybe tonight looking through the Michael Lewis Marketing Suite stuff, maybe looking through eEdge, putting some ideas together. What do you think? Now remember at the beginning of this class when we talked about your value proposition, that's where you're going to want to put some of this stuff in there about you. Why should they work with you? And when they're sitting at home at night, they can't sleep or whatever, and they need to go to bed, then they start reading this, and then they're on cold at school. Give them a service. So build your buyer's guide. That's your homework for tonight, by the way. And then at the page 613 says supplement your buyer's guide. That's a lot of the stuff that we're talking about. I don't necessarily do that as much personally. You might want to have something in there about, you know, the lenders that you work with. It's maybe something about Movement Mortgage. You know, if you don't have a lender, I'd encourage you to go talk to them. Title company that you work with. First Centennial is the title company in here that you can get information about and maybe put in your buyer's packet. That shows a process, okay? That's what the most important part is, that the person sitting across the table from you wants to know that all the people sitting in the room, you know what you're doing. And as long as they leave the conversation with you feeling like they know what you're doing, you're good to go. Agreed? All right, on to the most important thing. Qualifying and scheduling the buyers for the consultation. This is where a lot of agents, this is where they lose it. They spend a lot of time, they spend a lot of energy working with people that are not qualified to be purchasing a home, and they're wasting their time. You're gonna pull out your hair, you're gonna end up, you know, freaking out about every last thing, okay? So here's where it starts. Once you have all your information, you have your process in place, you guys know what you're doing, right? We're powerful and we're knowledgeable, right? So when you have that in place, you can speak confidently about what you're proposing. Will I go show homes to anyone who has not done a buyer consultation with me?
No.
Yes, once.
Which one do you think it is?
One time.
One time?
I did one.
One? On that, what do you think?
Are you asking me, should you ever?
Should you?
No.
No?
No.
This is good. We got a lot of mix here. This is good. You want some clarity on this? If they call on your listing, so if I get a phone call from a buyer and say, hey, I'm interested in your listing on Broadmoor, I'd like to go see it. I will go show them my listing because I'm servicing my seller. If they call me up and say, hey, I want to go see 123 Main Street, and that is not one of our listings, I will not go show them that property until they come meet with me in my office, period. Period. And you go, wow. Here's what happens. New agent gets the phone call. It's somebody who's like, yeah, I was on Zillow, I saw this house, we think it's great, it's perfect for us. Can we go see it? New agents go, oh my God, I got somebody who wants to see a house. I'm doing something. Yes, I am a realtor today. I gotta go. I got a house to show. What's up? And they're rolling out. They're like, I'm gonna meet you there. And you get out there and you're like, look at this house. This is beautiful, right? You like it? And they're like, yeah, this is awesome.
I got an agent
They're
already.
like, so you want to write them up an offer? Yeah, we'll let our agent know. What? Hey, you got another agent? Oh my God. And you come back to the office and people are like, hey, how'd that show go? Yeah, we're good, you know, we'll see what happens. That's what you do. You watch, you go sit up there and they're there, like, oh, I'm going out showing houses today. If you wait long enough, they'll be back there and they'll be like, yeah, okay, well, you know. Didn't work out for them. Yeah, we'll get another one, no big deal. I show houses to my clients. I don't show houses to people. I show houses to clients of Opulent Life. You should show houses to clients of you. How do they become your client?
Buyer agency.
Buyer agency agreement. So if they don't have a buyer agency agreement with you, can they go see a house? Say
No.
no. No. We're not showing them houses. But I really want to see this house. You're not going to show me this house? That's correct. There are certain steps we need to go through, right? How do we know? Here's another one. We get out there. Man, this house is awesome. Yeah, that's right. That's good. All right. Oh, we can't afford this. How much was the list price? $700,000. Yeah, we can only afford $200,000. But we just want to see this house. Well, I'm all for dream building. I'm with you. You got to have a big why. You want to know where you want to live, and that's awesome. As long as I know that on the front end, then I might go do it because we're friends or something. But I'm not into like, hey, look at this $1 million home. That's great. Someday, skipper. You know? We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it. It's gonna be great. I'm telling you the truth. Qualifying, this is the most important part. And this is the part that requires backbone. This is the part that if you have a system in place, you're going to know how to make money and stop wasting money. Did you know that as you're being in business for yourself, you're operating, you know, as a 1099, you have revenue and expenses, right? What are the expenses of working with buyers? Driving around, gas, brings in materials, right?
Maintenance on your car.
Maintenance on the car. That's all cost, right? When's the revenue come? Closing day. So 2 ways to make money. Increase revenue, decrease cost. I'm talking about right now how to decrease cost. When you look at your year, how much money did you spend driving all over town? And it starts with this conversation on the phone. When somebody calls in and says, I want to go see this house, or you're calling with sphere of influence, or somebody says, I want to go see property. What do you say next, or what you say next, makes the difference between raising your expenses or lowering your expenses. We want to lower the expenses. So what you want to do is focus on how to get them into the office. Can we all agree that you shouldn't show homes until you have a buyer consultation? All right, good. We're all on the same page. So when someone calls, if you look at the bottom of this page, 6-14, what are they doing? They're trying to eliminate the house from contention of them buying and eliminate you. Who loves salespeople? No one. You ever walk in? Hey, who's been in the art van lately?
We just had an art van discussion.
Art van is awesome. So I play a game with art van. If I go there with somebody, we will see how far into the store we can get before we get attacked by a salesperson. Here's how it goes. We walk in, I go, got it? All right, good. And we just take off and we split. And it's awesome. Whoa. It's awesome because the salesperson goes, all this person, and we're just like, I've gotten all the way to the opposite side. It's fantastic. It's such a great game. And they're like, oh, can I help you today? And you're like, oh, no, I'm just playing a game. Just playing a game, just messing around. But nobody likes that. So we want to eliminate salespeople. So when someone calls, they're trying to not work with you. Why do they not want to work with you? Because they don't understand what you do. When people don't understand something, they're confused or they have a negative viewpoint on it. Do they do anything? No, they don't. So what are the 2 things that slow down progression? Confusion and negative. That's it. If you all remember that, if your clients are confused, they're not going to do anything. If they're turning negative about the situation, they're not going to do anything. So they're gonna eliminate the property and they're gonna eliminate you. You gotta learn how to combat that and overcome that. So, on the next page, when you're talking to someone on the phone, you want to qualify them. You want to establish what's the price range, what is their motivation to buy, what is their location they're looking in, what are they wanting, timeline, finances, availability. You can get through most of that typically if you have good conversation, but you also have to be able to redirect and quote unquote stall. Okay? So, who wants to, hold on, I think I'm going to help myself. Let's talk about the difference between A buyers, B buyers, and C buyers. A buyers, they're ready, willing, and able to purchase, and they'll be under contract in a matter of weeks. Is that good? Oh yeah. You want to work with A buyers, right? So B buyers, they're ready and willing, but maybe not able to right now. Something has to happen first. They have to get their existing home under contract. They have to wait for their lease to expire, or they need to get their cash from their tax refund or something like that, right? There's some criteria, something that has to happen before they can purchase. Are they good buyers to work with? Yeah, they're gonna buy, right? So here's C buyers. They have no immediate need. They may have a very exacting situation. For example, if they can sell their property for a specific price or get a house on a street they have always loved. C buyers. Good buyers to work with?
Put them in your database.
Put them in your database. Here's a question. Should you work with C buyers?
Eventually, you don't.
The answer is it depends. You always want to work with A buyers first, B buyers, and C buyers. How many clients do you have right now that you're working with? I've watched new agents be like, well, I only work with A buyers. Really? How many clients do you have? Well, none. So you should work with any buyer. How's that? You should be taking anything you get. You start differentiating the A, B, and C when you get busy. It's a help that help you prioritize. Okay? Does that make sense? But I love the new agent who's like, well, I was in class, I was in Ignite, and they said, you don't work with C buyers or B buyers. You got to put them in on a drip campaign and wait for them to come. No. You don't have anything better to do. You should just work. I got that a lot in Ann Arbor. I was a team leader out there and taught this class, and I'd be like, well, Chris, I don't want to waste my time. Okay, so what are you doing? I'm playing solitaire. How's Facebook doing? Stop sending me invitations to play Candy Crush. I'm not interested. So with A buyers, you just get them, rolling right away. B buyers, you set them up on a search campaign, things like that. C buyers, just keep on top of them. You just keep in touch. Hey, you have a system. Here we go. On the call, you're going to want to make copies of this, the buyer lead sheet. So when you get to that page, this is a really important form. This is going to help you have a system. Why do you think you want that information? Name, email address, children's names, things like that. Do you know that builds relatability? Remember I said, with sometimes agents that you want to humanize it? Well, you want to do that with your clients too. Most of my clients, they consider me to be a friend. They invite me to things all the time. Hey, after the transaction's done, they're like, hey, Deighton, you want to go grab a beer or something? Sure. Sounds good. More times than not, they're now part of my sphere of influence. You always want to be growing your sphere of influence. Always. That's what we do. The bigger your sphere of influence, the more business you're going to drive, the more people you're able to help, and the better everything's going to be. Questions like, has an agent taken you out to show any properties? Why is that important? Because they might be working with somebody else. Kind of want to know that. Ethically, we do not want to step on each other's toes. So it's bad. So like if I've got somebody on the phone, they're like, oh yeah, I'm working with Dave. Oh, okay, Dave's a great agent. Here's what you need to do next. I always tell them, this is a great line. Here's what you need to do next. You need to hang up the phone with me, call Dave, and tell him this is the home that you want to go see. and he'll be glad to work with you. If something's not working out, feel free to give me a call. But I always defer back to the agent, right? Because isn't that what, professionally speaking, you want done for you? I expect if one of my clients decides to call a sign on the yard and calls some agent, and they say, hey, you know, yeah, we're working with Chris Deighton at Opulent Life Realty. Yeah, I want them to say, oh, you know what, hey, here's what you need to do next. They'll be able to get you in and just redirect. And then most of the time, they don't do it maliciously. A lot of times we hear that, like if your client called someone else, they're just excited. They just want to buy a home. And they just move at a different pace. It's not like they're like, I hate you. He's not working for me. No big deal. Well, except for when you're in class and they're, you know, you don't do things and it's out all the time, I guess. Few apart between. But this is a great form to have on hand for you. And you can start your file with this. So when you're got them on the phone, we're gonna go over the script here in a second. In fact, let's flip over to 619 and start talking about this. And we're gonna wrap up our day with this. We're right on schedule. You want to learn how to take control of the conversation. So do you guys know how to take control of a conversation? Questions. The person who's asking the questions controls the conversation. Did you guys know that? Mm-hmm. This works great on spouses. Should make you take the covenant oath here. I'm going to teach you things that are going to be awesome. But,
So are you married?
yeah, I was married. I didn't learn the stuff in time. It's all good. It's not 100%. And it can be used for evil, nefarious purposes. You want to, when someone calls and they say, I'd like to go see, I'm calling about the property on 123 Main Street. Can I go see it? You have a choice right now. This is the moment of truth.
Right.
You can say, yes. When are you available? What kind of agent is that?
Week.
Rookie.
Hungry, starving.
Yeah. Please, sir, can I have some more? I need some more houses to show.
You're a comedian in your second life, right?
No. Wait till tomorrow. You have a moment right there. You have a moment, and you need to ask a question. You do not have to be the answer monkey for somebody because they asked you a question. Do you understand that? Mm-hmm. That is important. So when someone says, I'd like to go see this property, I say, that's fantastic. Everybody's calling on that property. Tell me, how long have you been looking for a home? Did I not answer the question? I did not answer the question. I just haven't answered it yet. I didn't tell them that we wouldn't go see that home, but I did ask them a qualifying question. How long have you been looking for a home? Oh, we've been looking off and on for about the last 6 months. Oh, that's fantastic. How did you find this house? How did you find out about this home? Oh, we saw the sign. Perfect. Actually, I'm just booting up. I'm trying to look up the information while my computer's loading here. Right? What is that?
Stall tactic.
Stall. Reasonable, right? If you have more than one listing, pretty legit that you're not going to remember every last, thing about this property, or it's somebody else's listing that they're calling about, whatever, Gosphere call. You're just going to ask, everybody's calling, excellent. Real quick, while I look up that information, tell me, what price range are you looking in? I changed it to looking in versus what are you comfortable with? Comfortable with is a little pointed. I don't know these people. I want to know what price range you're shopping in. I'll get to whether or not they're qualified, right? So that's one of the examples that I switched. So tell me, what price range are you shopping in? What are you looking for? And they're like, oh, we've been looking for the last 6 months. We've been out about, we're looking for homes between 200 and 300,000. Kind of want to be in the Livonia, Plymouth area, like Northwest Livonia. Okay, great, fantastic. So have you been working with an agent? Is there anybody helping you with that? You see how casually I asked that? Mm-hmm. And then if they say yes, I go, awesome, who's helping you? Oh, Ken Posick. Great. Well, then what you want to do is come down to my office right now. I'm just kidding. That's funny.
Mutual
I'm
release.
texting him right
You text them like, Dayton just stealing your client.
I'm on.
No, that's when you go through the script. Hey, here's what you need to do next. You need to call Ken up. He'd be glad to help you out. Tell him it's a great property. It's still available. And then you have the conversation. If not, you say, awesome. Well, that's great. You want to find out, so why are you looking to buy a home? What's bringing you to Livonia? Why do you think that's important? CJ, we talk about this all the time, right?
Yeah, well, it's their motivation. It's
Motivation.
through need or want or desire. It's everything.
If you can find out why they're doing something, you can help them. I'll say that again. If you can find out why somebody's doing something, you, as the professional agent, can help them. You can help guide the process. You can help them understand they're not being realistic. You can help them adjust to where they want to go. You can get involved. That's the part that separates you from all the other agents. It's not about the transaction. It's not about getting them to go buy a house. It's about helping them. And when you understand why somebody's doing something, then you can help them. And if you don't understand why they're doing something, you can't help them. It's like playing darts blindfolded. Not likely to go well. Well, we're looking in Livonia because, we've got 3 little kids. We've kind of outgrew our current house. We just sold that and we're moving to the area and we need a home with 4 bedrooms. And this looked great. Wonderful. How old are your kids? Just have a conversation. Like you would meet, like if you met somebody at Panera, you would just have a normal conversation with them. Don't get psyched out being like, what's the next question on the... You've had conversations your whole life. It's the same thing with phone calls. People get freaked out, like, I'm about your phone calls. You talk to people all the time. What's wrong with you? It's not like all of a sudden, like, oh my God, I'm in real estate now. Oh my God, it's a phone. I'm not calling anybody. What's up, Facebook? Don't change who you are. Be who you are. You're already awesome. You've got your license, you're ready to help people. Find the motivation, and then you can help them. And then here's the magic line I want you to all write down. When you're having this conversation, the qualifying conversation with people, you say, here's what we need to do next. ... Here's what we need to do next. I'd like you to come to my office. Because I can help you find what you're looking for. Here's what we need to do next. You need to come to my office because I can help you find what you're looking for. They say, well, can't I just go look at this house? Of course. I always say, of course we could do that, but I think you would agree that it would be better served to save time and money for you by going through the process appropriately. Is that harsh? No. But what does it imply? That if they don't, if they want to stick to their guns, that they're now acting inappropriately and making it harder. Your language matters. So you want to get that out there. You want to say things like, hey, I want to save you time and money, and wouldn't you agree that that would be more appropriate for you? Yeah, but I want to go look at that house. Yes, we can do that, but let's have you come into the office.
As a new agent, I deal with obviously a lot of people in my very close sphere at this point, and a lot of them think, since we're friends, that, oh, we can just be really casual about it. So I flip that against them and say, I don't want our friendship to convolute this professional relationship that we're entering, so it's really important that we do things according to how it's supposed to go, and that kind of makes them realize, like, okay, he's actually doing this now, so.
Right. Perfect.
Right.
Yeah, I've had people be like, oh, come on, Dave, just take me to go see this house. I'm like, look, I get it, but because we're such great friends, I wouldn't want to shortchange this experience for you, and I certainly wouldn't want to cost you thousands of dollars. So wouldn't you agree that it would probably be best to just come into my office and we can have a conversation about what you're looking to accomplish? You're like, and practiced, and the more experience you have in working with people, that'll come naturally to you. Also, when you understand what your process is, it becomes a lot more second nature to you. Because I'm not trying to be anything that I'm not. I may or may not be able to help them, but I'm also not willing to go drive around all over town to be a tour guide. I have a process, I know how it works for us. This is my process, and here's the thing, you're an expert, you're going to help these people, and if they want them to help, if they want you to help them and get your expertise, they need to jump through some hoops. Not jump through hoops, you know, so to speak, but you're bringing a tremendous amount of value and benefit to them. Have some self-worth. Know what you're capable of. Know what you're bringing to the table. You've looked at way more houses than they probably have. You've done more transactions than they have. If you've done one, you're probably ahead of them. And especially they're like, I bought a house 17 years ago. Congratulations, it's a little different today.
Right.
My favorite is the people who are like, I've been doing this for 30 years. I'm like, I'd stop telling people that. I would, because this is a right now market. This is a right now. This is a what have you done for me lately business.
Right.
You got to earn it every day, every day. So, let's practice this.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
You know, a mindset has kind of changed too, because you can't just call the doctor up and say, prescribe this medicine to me. What do they say? Come into the office.
Yeah.
You know, an attorney. So, you know, our mindset, you know, we're the same professionals as they are. So, you know, you need to come.
Yeah. And I'll work with them, like, if they're like, I can't come, I work during the day or whatever, I can't. I'm okay with that. My goal is to have a buyer consultation. Because I know, and you'll understand this a whole lot more by the end of tomorrow, when you hear how I go through the buyer consultation, you'll understand how I can take somebody out one time and have them under contract. And if that's intriguing to you, you should come here tomorrow and understand that this is step 1, step 2 is tomorrow, step 3 is the contract. Boom, boom, boom. And one of these doesn't take a whole lot of time. This is a phone call. But getting good at this phone call makes a difference. Being good at the buyer consultation makes a difference. Those are the groundwork pieces that set expectations that lead to very, very happy, satisfied clients. Right? By the way, when you have a nice interaction with people, they have a process, don't they feel way more comfortable referring you
Yeah.
to their friends and family?
Chris, on average, how many homes do you show your clients before writing?
Yeah, 10. Maybe 9. I should run my numbers. I'm going to run down to 9. And I do it in 2 sessions. I never show more than 5 on one trip out. I don't care if they send me a list of 17.
Yeah, I do that. I ask them to pick their top 4 or 5, and, you know, out of, if they send me like 8.
But, and the problem is, because I've done it before, I've gone out for an entire day and shown houses. And I know that if I can't remember the 3rd house that we saw, they sure as heck can't remember.
Right.
And they start blending features and benefits together.
Right. Right.
Like, oh, you know, the one with the sweet kitchen and the big, huge backyard, and that one's non-existent.
Now, how do you do? Do you give them a packet of some sort with the different homes that you guys are viewing, or you just take, you know what I mean? Do you give them something to take home with them? You say, we saw this house, and this house?
We'll cover that tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you leaving soon? I'm sorry. We're almost done.
Do you ever meet them not at the office?
I will meet somebody if I came in like a Starbucks or a Panera. I've done that before. Yeah, I don't care where we meet, per se, as long as we're meeting. More times than not, they come to my office. You know, come sit down in the conference room, and we go over stuff. So, let's practice this. On page 620, you've got the schedule the appointment for the buyer consultation. So why don't you guys pair up real quick? And this is what we're going to wrap up with today, I believe. Yeah, pretty much. And then there's the objections on the next page, on 621. So why don't we pair it up? Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And Lynette just left. So Dave, you can be with me, and then everybody else just pair it up. And we'll do this for each person. Take one. Just, have you guys role played before? Is that a role play? Pair up. And we'll practice setting the appointment. So one of you is going to be the buyer, the potential buyer calling in, and the other person's going to be the agent.
Yep, sounds good. Now,
Which one do you want to do first?
I'll do the agent first.
Okay, so I'll call you. All right. You ready?
It makes no difference.
Hi, this is Dave.
Yeah, hi Dave. This is, I'm interested in 123 Main Street. Can I go see that today?
Great, that's a very popular property left.
Okay, I'll call it.
You know what, I think it's awesome. It's right in downtown Northville. And just want to know if I can get in there and take a look at it. I think it'd be a good fit.
Well, that sounds nice.
Awesome
How
property.
about we meet at my office, and we can do any other properties that you might be interested in the area. We have a time that works for you.
You know what, I'm a little short on time. Any chance we could just meet at the property and run through real quick?
But we're supposed to use Christmas.
It's such a tough property, I don't want to hold as much time as just seeing the documents and information that I need to get through this process as quickly as possible. We really realize we need to meet somewhere beforehand. This isn't a process that I really care to rush. Do you agree?
I mean, yeah, I get where you're coming from. I was just a little bit short on time. I don't know, are you able to show it to me?
Well, that was the other day, if I could better than the copy at a time. And I'd like to have a bit of
Where's your office?
I just been.
I'm looking very convenient right off there.
I know where you're at. Yeah, I guess if you come in, you know, I just went by your office.
Give me the best of the time on my calendar, and then we can just kind of review it, talk about the day.
So basically,
Later today, 4 o'clock.
I have to look at it. You got it by 4 o'clock. Keep trying.
Right, okay. Objections? Right. Go through it, okay. So, give me a call. Yeah, I can go to that.
I really need to get it to see
You know what, that's a great property, and what's bringing you to the area?
Northville schools, I've got a small kids that are story, they want to get into great things.
gives you the opportunity to start asking those questions, because now it's in their mind, I think they can't see what you're doing.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. Dave, nice to meet you. My name's Chris, and I'd definitely be glad to help you out. That property is tremendous. Lots of activity. Tell me, what price range are you kind of shopping in?
Right now, we're looking at $30,000 range. Probably.
Okay, perfect. So, are you going to be buying the home cash, or have you already met with a loan officer?
I have 3 other properties.
We haven't gotten that far with this, if I don't have this cash, but I'm certain with my wife's plan,
I don't think I can come down.
That's excellent. Well, I would say this, actually, when you look at some of the time frames and what's the area that you're working through, process would be a lot easier if we sat down in the office and go through a buyer consultation where I can say to you a bunch of time.
But we have to.
Do you agree?
It's a process. We have to
For most people it is, and so we definitely want to get you into that home. Are there other homes that you were thinking about taking a look at as well?
You know, we haven't really looked across on this one. Would it be possible to check
I have no problems with that.
similar criteria?
Yeah, without a doubt. So let's do this. What's your availability this evening to come by my office?
This evening's a little bit tight, but I've got a window tomorrow morning after I drop my kids off. 9 o'clock work for you?
Okay, 9 o'clock actually doesn't work for me, but are you available in any of the afternoons or evenings?
Well, I've got this cross practice. See if my wife can take
Trust me when I tell you that it never worked out. So why don't we do this? Why don't we tentatively schedule starting Saturday morning and Saturday morning works better for you. Saturday morning works great. I love that. You know your wife, come down to my office. What we're going to do is I'm going to go over the process of my which is going to help you eliminate, figure out how we can get you into the Northville School District. Have a great day.
So, yeah, sure. I had tried to first one of them. See, let alone computer.
Once you get, we'll try that.
No.
Once you get go to any, you go to your place and you just go in and so you just go in
So you're not paying anything where we are.
I was going to ask you at first, are you working on it? Yes.
You're digging.
So you put the and then you see the or you're not really, you're at home with the parents, at home with the and on the floor, you're sitting in the when you send it to yourself,
all right.
Nobody.
I can name the thing that's good, but it comes in on the.
I just know that's what we want to do.
Does anybody have any ahas from that?
Somebody.
Because who's going to really open that? So what you do?
Any ahas? Any like, wow, okay, I didn't hear, I heard it differently, or that worked good, or seemed to flow good?
It's just different ways of putting it than I've heard in person, and so it's good to always hear.
That's why you love getting around other people too.
Right, absolutely.
I like the.
Let's flip over to page 6-28, kind of fast forward. Some of those are objections. I'd recommend you go through and read those on that stuff. We go to 6-28. That's good?
Sorry, yeah, he's teaching me about phone apps, sorry.
That's okay. We're almost done.
Okay.
I've got 4 more minutes. Let's read what Gary Keller has to say about customer service. Who wants to read that?
I'll read it.
All right, CJ.
Gary Keller is adamant about the need for market-specific knowledge when it comes to servicing customers. One of the things I know is that buyers and sellers in the marketplace expect me and you to provide them with knowledge, expertise, and perspective. The best way for us to do that is to spend some time with the numbers so that we fully understand and appreciate where we are and where we have been. Only then we can help people decide what they need to do in their future. Working with buyers can be lucrative and rewarding if you do it purposefully. Armed with market knowledge and a full suite of services to offer your customers, you will position yourself as an expert real estate professional. Without these tools, you will be little more than a glorified taxi driver.
We call that an Uber driver now.
Right.
So, customer service. That's what's going to differentiate you from all the other agents out there. What are you providing to your client? If you have a purpose for your process, then your process will take on, I guess I was trying to say, take on wealth generation for you. Stick with your process. Process matters. You can constantly tweak it. It's not like we're like doing this in blood, you know? You can change things. If you grow, your buyer consultation may grow and adapt, and that happens as markets shift, right? So when we're recapping what we did today, you know, you studied market statistics. I taught you where to get those, right? Everybody knows where to get your market statistics so that you can now even the playing field with you and every other mega agent in this place and all around the area. You've customized your buyer consultation, or you know where to start creating your buyer consultation so that you have something, a process. Michael Lewis Marketing Suite or eEdge, either works. And then you have some scripts to work with the buyers so that you know how to get them in for a buyer's consultation. Will you go show homes if you have not done a buyer consultation?
No.
No.
Unless
your listing. Right?
Right.
Good. All right, so homework. Your 10-4, right? So 10 conversations about real estate, 10 written notes, 10 houses previewed, right? You guys gonna go make those conversations today? You know you can do that anywhere. Go to Panera, go hang out, go have a conversation about real estate. Go to 12 Oaks, go somewhere. Pick up the phone, call your friends. Call a family member, call somebody and say, hey, you know, I'm excited about what's going on. You've got market stats now. Do you know that people love talking about real estate? Here's one of the little secrets. You know, you go to like a little soiree gathering or whatever. People are like, oh, you're in real estate? If you know the market and you can say things like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Did you know that we're up 19% year over year in value, home values, in all of Detroit? Wow. You go, wow, that's really good. But yeah, you know, probably not sustainable, but man, it's good to see that things are coming back. It means that people are employed, more businesses are hiring people, people are able to purchase homes, more businesses coming. Did you know more people moved to Michigan than moved out for the first time since 2006? Last year?
Chris, when you say 19%, are you interpreting that data as 19% since 2009?
Nope, year over year, since 2014.
Okay.
February 2014 to February
19%
2015.
increase.
Correct.
Okay.
And it went from 105,000 to 125,000. And that's on real count.
people,
Pretty exciting.
people do like to talk. I was at a Michigan game last year, and at the tailgate, guys were just talking about real estate. I chimed in, got a listing.
Yep. You never know.
And I didn't even,
Have your business
it
cards
wasn't
ready?
scripted. It wasn't scripted. I just started talking about it.
If you give your business card, you go, hey, let me get your contact information. You pull out your phone. Let me get your contact information. I'll send you some stuff. Now you just added a contact. You added something, but you had a conversation and you added it to your database. Awesome. So, good. Tomorrow we will be starting promptly at 1. And very excited to go through this buyer consultation. We'll have the packet for you, but a lot of it's what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna model for you how this works, right? What I do. And I'm gonna give you a couple key lines that will literally make you much wealthier than if you don't say that. All right? Have a great afternoon, be productive, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening.
Chris, you want to start handing those things from Swan?
Yes. The survey? Anybody that doesn't have surveys, we have some more up here.
Well, because it had both on it.
Yes, it did.
It was the only reason. Now I